It was billed as the game of the year in the Sun Belt Conference. Old Dominion against James Madison, and for at least one half, it lived up to its billing. But the demons that have haunted the Monarchs this season showed up in the second half in a big way. A beautiful sunny day in Harrisonburg, sellout crowd at Bridgeforth Stadium, 25,000 strong. JMU received the opening kickoff, and talk about a gift. Ball is out. It's recovered by the Monarchs. ODU touchdown, up 7-0, 6 seconds into the game. Dukes answered right back to tie it up. Then ODU responds with a huge play. Colton Joseph to Trey Brown, 98 yards. Longest offensive play in program history and the longest in the country this season. ODU up 14-7. A little later, Joseph to Brown again from 11 yards out. Monarchs missed the extra point, but still led 20-14. Dukes quarterback Alonzo Barnett Jr. had himself a game. The touchdown pass here. Dukes led 28-27 at the half. The second half was a disaster for Old Dominion. Turnovers have been a problem in the second half. It became an issue again. There was a muff punt after 2 last week. Colton Joseph threw 2 interceptions. Alonzo Barnett accounted for 448 yards and 6 touchdowns. 42 unanswered points by the Dukes. They held ODU to 10 yards of offense in the second half. JMU blows out Old Dominion 63-27. James Madison joins us from Harrisonburg with the post-game reaction.
Well, at halftime of Old Dominion, James Madison, it was a barn burner. It was 28-27. The Monarchs were down a point going into the locker room. And in the second half, you were optimistic that ODU would get its first win over JMU since 2012. And then the second half started, and everything unraveled for the Monarchs. How about this? 63-27, the final score. ODU gets blown out in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, very frustrating when I thought, in the first half we took advantage of our opportunities, and then the second we just didn't.
They had 3 second-half turnovers. Colton Joseph threw 2 second-half interceptions, and they were only able to muster up 10 total yards of offense in the second half. It was a nightmare third and fourth quarter for Old Dominion football.
I put a lot of emphasis on the third quarter, knowing it was going to be important all week. It was, going to be one of our keys to victory, and obviously they won that quarter handily.
James Madison's 624 yards of total offense is tied for the most that Old Dominion has given up in program history. And the 63 points that the Monarchs gave up, that's the second most that they've given up in program history.
Extreme frustration, but to be honest, at times like this, man, you can only look forward to the work. I know this week about to be a good week, because I can see it in everybody's eyes. We never want to feel like this again.
Old Dominion falls to 4-3 on the season, and if you're the Monarchs, you really got to regroup, because now this is back-to-back losses to Sun Belt competition in blowout fashion. But luckily for the Monarchs, they're back home at SB Ballard Stadium this coming Saturday when they take on App State at noon. At Bridgeforth Stadium, for the Sports Wrap, I'm James Madison.
A potential season-defining loss there for Old Dominion.